Hey, what's up? Peace and abundance always. Peter Abundant here, aka Dr. Abundant, minister and PhD in metaphysical sciences. So today we're going to continue our journey into dissecting, decoding the book of Genesis and the Bible. We are at chapter 1, and we're going to go into chapter 1, verses 14 through 19. And we're going to continue into our journey as to breaking down and understanding that the creation story, as we know it, isn't about God creating the world, but about your consciousness essentially creating all that you desire. So we are coming from this from a metaphysical standpoint, not a religious standpoint. It's very important to decipher our point of view when we look at this book and this sacred and amazing text. Now, it's important to understand that the Bible in itself is a catalog, is a book of collection of stories. And from a metaphysical standpoint, these stories are allegories of your own divine potential, right? Understanding your own divine essence and understanding who you truly are. And so as we go down this journey of really studying this sacred text, we're going to apply everything that we read to yourself, okay? Because this journey is about really recognizing that you are the creator of your reality. You are the creator of your universe. And this book, I believe deep down in my heart that it's more about you than any outside source. It's more about you than any other person. So if you are intrigued by this idea, please follow along. And again, I want to invite you to recognize that this is a metaphysical point of view, a metaphysical interpretation, a metaphysical understanding of what it is that we're reading. What does it mean to be metaphysical? It means that you are going beyond the physical. You are essentially going beyond the literal, beyond just the superficial, shallow, essence of what it is that you're seeing. You're looking for deeper meanings within the text that you're reading, within the experience that you're having, within the connection or the communication that you're having with another person. It goes on and it expands throughout all of life. So let's enjoy. And I want to send out a disclaimer or warning for those who are very sensitive. If you are a Christian, if you identify with the Christian faith and religion, I really want you to understand that the intention here isn't to discredit, it isn't to be disrespectful, it isn't to, look at religion in itself in a negative light. Okay, this is about going deeper into the wisdom. And though you may identify as Christian, the wisdom applies outside of even the religion. So even for somebody like myself who doesn't identify as being Christian, I still acknowledge and respect the great wisdom that is in this book, which is why I am taking this deep dive into really decoding and understanding what it is that it's teaching. And it's important to really recognize that there's a difference. It's like having the difference between being religious versus being spiritual. Okay. It's an understanding that there is a deep personal connection between you and that which you call God, the universe, you see? So the intention here again is to shed light, is to find the wisdom, the depth within this book called the Bible. So today, like I said, we're going to get into Genesis chapter 1, 14 to 19, which basically covers day 4 within the story of creation. Okay. And now the story of creation is in this context about the 7 steps, because remember, in the story of creation, there are 7 days by which God has created the earth, the world. Some people may even say the universe. Okay. But when we look at it from a metaphysical standpoint, we see it as really 7 steps of you understanding how to materialize that which you want. Okay. Recognizing that your divine spark, your consciousness is an individualized expression of that which we call the creator, which we call God. Okay. So in this verse or these verses, we will basically cover day 4 within the days of creation. All right. So I will read Genesis chapter 1, 14 through 19. And this is in the King James Version. All right. I'm going to put on my glasses because, I want to make sure that I actually read it correctly. All right. And God said, "Let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and for years. And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven and give light upon the earth." And it was so. And God made 2 great lights, the greater light to rule the day and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. And God set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the 4th day. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read it again, but I'm going to break down everything as I understand it from a metaphysical point of view as it relates to you learning what this 4th step of creating your reality, your world, your desire is. Okay. And God said, God being you, your consciousness, right? This is the divine part, the divine spark within you. Set the intention, right? Let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven. All right. So let there be lights. Before in day 1, we talked about let there be light, right? Singular. Whereas now is saying, let there be lights. Now, light or lights pertains to enlightenment. It pertains to exposing, seeing. Ultimately, it means intellect. It means a knowing, right? And understanding. Okay. So let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven. So the firmament of the heaven, firmament is, when you go back into the previous, material, firmament is the division within your mind that ultimately filters out what is practical, what is good, what is encouraging, what is disempowering, limiting beliefs. Essentially, it is your conscious mind. So let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven. Heaven is essentially your ideas. It's essentially the potential, right, of all of the ideas that you have, all of the desires that you have, right? Those essentially, that is your heaven. Heaven is really you creating all that you desire to create. Okay. So for firmament of the heaven is about really your conscious mind really focusing on the desire, right? It's almost like one and the same is where they kind of exist together in one moment. To divide the day from the night. So we'll get more into divide the day into the night a little bit later. But ultimately, it relates to what we're going to say later on when it comes to the 2 great lights. Okay. So I'm going to read it again. And God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven and divide the day from the night. All right. Now let them be for signs, for seasons, for days, and for years. So what we're acknowledging here is time, timing, patterns. Okay. Very important. Now let's break it down more because this is very important. Let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and for years. We're talking about the zodiac. We're talking about signs. We're talking about astrological signs here. We're talking about essentially the patterns of nature, of the universe, cycles. That's what we're talking about here. And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven and give light upon the earth. And it was so. So let them be lights in the firmament of the heaven. So what we're talking about is, remember, firmament is your conscious mind. Lights is knowledge, right? Intelligence, a knowing, an understanding. So what we're doing is we're using the lights, right? And let them be for signs, seasons, days, and years. So we're using the observation, right? Your conscious mind observing lights and how it represents the symbols, how it represents, the patterns. So the sun, the rotation of the sun, okay? Actually, the rotation of us around the sun, the stars, the moon, okay? And then how those relate to your ability to recognize certain patterns as they happen. Day 3 was about recognizing that things take time to grow. When you plant a seed, it takes time to grow, but within that seed, everything is within it. You just have to understand the pattern and the patience of recognizing what that thing is and allowing it to grow. Now we're paying attention to the cycles of recognizing that to materialize something, you have to acknowledge that there is a sense of wisdom when it comes to the timing of it materializing. Okay. Now, how it relates to the days, the seasons, the years, the stars, right, is another thing. So we're going to get into that. The signs, right? Let's see. And God made 2 great lights, the greater light to rule the day, the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. Okay. The stars, again, that gets back into astrology. It gets into paying attention to the stars as they relate to different astrological signs. Okay. The 2 great lights, we're talking about the sun and we're talking about the moon. So the greater light to rule the day is the sun. The lesser light to rule the night is the moon. What does that represent? So the 2 great lights are basically, we're shedding light on the earth. Remember, the earth is now coming into form. Okay. Day 3, we talked about the waters being separated and the seas being developed and land rising from the seas. And then there's growth, right? There's growth of grass, herb, right? Fruit, because that is when things are starting to happen, where you're starting to take action. All right. So now the lights represent you paying attention to what's happening, you paying attention to the earth as it develops, you recognizing the steps that you're doing and how it's materializing, how it's moving forward in the creation of that which you desire, of the creation of your world, your earth. Okay. So you have the 2 great lights, the sun and the moon. All right. The sun is for the day. The moon is for the night. And then you also have the stars. So the sun represents the masculine aspect of creation, taking action, taking initiative, doing what you got to do. The moon represents the feminine aspect of materialization, of manifestation, which is receiving, observing, being patient, okay, nurturing, allowing. So you have the sun that is being projected onto the earth, watching. The sun is the thing that actually allows and gives energy to the development of the vegetation, the development of the world. Okay. It is sending rays to it. Okay. Energy towards it. And it is growing that vegetation. Okay. During the day. That's activity. That's action. That's what you're doing. Doing, initiating, doing. Then it takes a moment where you have to take a step back. And that is the moon's job and at night, where you are still providing something, right? You're providing light, you're providing observation, you're watching, but it is more from a standpoint of now allowing rather than doing. So it's very important because you're still doing, you're still being involved in the process, but one is very involved, very active, very aggressive, whereas the other is very patient, very nurturing, very cool, calm, collected, right? All right. Then we have the stars. The stars are essentially you just paying attention to the overall cycles of what's happening. When's the right time to do the thing? Okay. Just like with the stars, with the way that the cycle of the earth and how it moves dictates the seasons. So you have to be mindful about what you do during particular seasons. It means that certain seasons are better for certain things. If you're going to plant a certain seed, you have to be mindful about the season. Okay. You have to be mindful about the conditions. You see, you have to be mindful about where you are, even on the planet, like where you are in relationship to when you want it to materialize. So it takes, we're talking about being practical in a sense of recognizing that there are universal laws involved here. Okay. Yes, we are absolute creators of our reality, but there is a grand creator, right? There's an ultimate creator that created all of this whole entire matrix, this whole entire, vast universe. We are essentially creating our own individualized universe within that. So there are laws, there are rules that we have to recognize and honor. So this is what it's talking about, is recognizing, okay, there are seasons for things. Though, yes, you can still push through and do it anyway, but it may not yield the best results if you are not in alignment with the stars, right? With the sun, with the moon. All right. And God set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the dark. So we have to recognize that light represents observation. It represents paying attention. So as we read, and God set them in the firmament of the heaven, okay, putting all the lights in your conscious mind to witness, to watch, to observe what it is that you're doing, what you've planted, the actions you've taken. Okay, that is what it means to put light upon the earth. The earth is that thing that you're materializing, you're putting into form, to rule over the day and over the night. So you're recognizing activity in the day, more observation, more nurturing at night. And divide the light from the darkness. So as you are observing, right, what's happening on earth, you are now watching and noticing where your knowledge or where your intellect is materializing and working, and where you are ignorant or where you are not aware of, like where. So light and darkness, light means knowledge. Darkness means the unknown, the lack of knowledge. Okay. Whenever we do something, there is always those two elements where we're stepping into doing and applying things that we know recognizing, because if we haven't materialized this thing before, then there's a lot of unknown happening here, right? That we have to face. And so when you are beginning to create something, there is the light. You're recognizing what you know, right? And then there is the darkness, meaning that there's a lot of things you may not know. And you have to recognize that, because eventually the darkness will become light. You will start to gain knowledge from experiencing the thing that you don't know. Okay. And God saw it was good. God saw that it was good. So again, it gets into recognizing, okay, there's things that I know, there's things that I don't know. I'm going to continue to move forward, and it's all good, right? When it says God saw that it was good, that is basically an affirmation of success, recognizing that the step that you are in right now feels good, it looks right, it is appropriate, and you are good with that. Okay. It's almost a statement of gratitude and appreciation for being able to be where you are right now. It is also a statement of recognizing that you're in a space of love and being passionate about your environment, your moment, right? This very moment, this very experience. And the evening and the morning were the fourth day. Again, the evening and the morning. Okay. It doesn't say the morning and the evening. It says the evening and the morning. This gets into recognizing that all of this is processed, received, and programmed into your subconscious mind when you go to bed, between when you go to bed and when you wake up. The evening and the morning were the first day. Were the fourth day. Excuse me. So that is the time where you want to focus on each step, especially this step, right? So when you go to bed or before you go to bed, contemplate, meditate, think about it. Let that go into your subconscious mind as you're sleeping. And then when you wake up, again, do the same thing. Set the intention for the day, for the actual day that you go about and go to work and all that stuff. And then that will set in motion the creation of that which you desire. All right. So let's get into, I'm going to look at my notes and I'm going to make sure that I did not miss anything, but I'm also going to get into a little bit of astrology, which by no means is my strong suit, but I'm going to read it out because I thought it was interesting. And I know that throughout the course of us breaking down the Bible this way, we're going to experience and see astrology referenced a lot. Okay. That I know. And I'm looking forward to it because I think it's something that people often separate. People often think astrology is something different. It's pagan. It has nothing to do with the Bible or Christianity, but it does. So let's recap again. So day one was about establishing clarity, right? Light, intelligence, recognizing what it is that you want. Day two, creating mental order and a belief structure. That is firmament. Day three, grounded your intention and planted the seed of manifestation. That is dry land and vegetation. And now day four, align with divine timing, astrology, universal cycles, sun, moon, and the stars. So this step represents cosmic order, it represents balance, it represents the natural unfolding of manifestation. So, okay, let's break this down some more. Let me see in my notes if I missed anything. Planetary movements, right? When you get into astrology, when you get into the zodiac signs, those are things that are often talked about for those people who are into astrology. Is one of those things that I am curious by. Again, not my strong suit, but I know it's something that is important, especially as I read this, right? As I get into this stuff. So again, let me break down the lights, right? Let them divide the day from the night. This is about understanding balance and duality of manifestation. So the sun, moon, and stars represents the polarity, balance and polarity. The sun, which is the day, right, represents action, awareness, outward creation. Okay. This essentially can be the conscious mind. The moon, right, which is night, represents intuition, receptivity, and subconscious creation, right? It's like the inner world. So both light and darkness are necessary. Manifestation requires balance between doing, the masculine energy, and allowing, which is the feminine energy. Let's see. The stars. Stars represents guidance, divine messages, and the interconnectedness of all things. So even when you're at night and you're in a beautiful place where there's no, light pollution and you can see all the stars, you recognize that just like the sun and the moon, but the stars is just even more amazing because those are essentially like other, you know, planets, suns that are far beyond that still allow us to recognize the oneness, right, that we're all experiencing. Like you can be on one side of the planet, notice the same stars, and the other side, it's like it changes, but it doesn't at the same time. So the zodiac is a celestial map of spiritual evolution and manifestation cycles. All right, so let's break down the zodiac seasons, right? So how I think about this is when we look at the zodiac, we look at only birth charts, right? We look at, oh, I'm a Leo. This is Leo season. I'm a Leo, so I say that. So we get really caught up in the birth aspects of it, our characteristics. But there are also characteristics that exist in overall consciousness of the entire universe, right? So when you recognize that, then you see that there may be, just like we do seasons when it comes to vegetation, right? There are also seasons when it comes to manifestation. Now, with vegetation, depending on the environment that you cultivate, depending on where you're planting, where you're farming, is going to be very, very important to recognize the environment, the season, essentially. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down each of the zodiac seasons, right? And the different energies for creating and materializing during those seasons. For example, Aries. Aries represents beginnings and leadership. During the Aries season, this is the best time for initiating new projects. Okay. So you kind of get where I'm going. It's like, it's the best time, but that doesn't mean it's the only time. It doesn't mean that you have to wait for Aries season. Though also the way I see it is, it can be, sometimes you're working hard and you're doing something. All of a sudden, you've been doing something the same, and all of a sudden it just pops off out of nowhere. Well, that's really because there is a systematic thing that we've triggered, like something that we just don't know of is we're falling in alignment with that. So when I read this and I discovered this, essentially what it told me was this explains the importance of recognizing, zodiac and recognizing the, celestial planets and understanding birth charts and seasons as it relates to materialization, because though you are a conscious creator and you are essentially creating your experience, there is a grand, right, universe that we are plugged into, we are involved with. And so when we recognize that there are universal laws that we should follow, this may be one of them, right, to consider. Okay. So next, moving on from Aries, Taurus, which represents stability and wealth. And this is the best time for grounding financial manifestations. Gemini, communication, ideas. This is the best time for manifesting clarity and new connections. Cancer represents emotions and the home. Best for emotional healing and inner work. Leo, which is what I am. Leo represents confidence and creativity. Best for manifesting personal power and self-expression. Virgo represents discipline and organization. Best for creating structure and long-term plans. Libra, relationships and balance. best for love and harmony-based manifestations. Scorpio, transformation and power, best for deep transformation and shadow work. Sagittarius, expansion and wisdom, best for growth and attracting new opportunities. Capricorn is ambition and mastery, best for career and material success. Aquarius, innovation and vision. This is best for manifesting visionary ideas. Pisces, finally, is spirituality and surrender, best for mystical insights and divine guidance. So understanding the cosmic flow allows you to manifest with ease, by working with the harmony of, the universal cycles, right? So when you understand that information, you're like, okay, so this is why, during the season of Leo, I felt like really expressing myself, right? During the months of, July and August, I feel like I can get into art or expression, right? That's because that is what it is. That is the best time to do so based on zodiac and based on the astrological energies. Okay. Now, on day one, you decided, okay, what it is that you want. All right. Day two, you created a structure for your beliefs, right? Day three, you took the first steps, you planted the seed. All right. And now we're at day four, where you must align with the divine timing, astrological influences, and just trust the unfolding process. All right. Now let's get into how it applies to manifestation. All right. We already got into the zodiac and how we can use that. Just pay attention to yes, pay attention to your birth charts. I know we all want to. We all just know our birth charts, but we don't really care about anybody else's. But it's important to recognize the energies and the flow of energy within the universe and how things are moving. Let's see. Yeah, so check out your zodiac season. Let's see. Look at your personal or astrological transits. In other words, like new moons for beginners, full moons for completion, balance action and receptivity. So, action is sun, chilling and just receiving and allowing. That is moon. So recognizing that, because a lot of us, a lot of people who work hard and really focusing on creating a particular thing, they'll do it throughout the night. You have to allow for what you did during the day to germinate, to gestate, to actually take shape and form. You see, you have to just let it and allow it, give it time. Okay. And that is more productive than continuing to just plow and just keep going and keep going and keep going. You see? All right. Follow signs and synchronicities. Okay. This kind of relates to the stars. The stars are those synchronicities, right? So when we think about us being moving, right? And you're watching things and you're taking a break from watching things, or you're actively involved in creating and doing things and you're trying to chill and take a break and let those things take shape and form. Sometimes you're just have these random coincidences, what most people call them, but they're actually synchronicities. Those are the stars that is referring to here. Okay. The stars are the little glimpses, the little sparks that happen just to let you know you're on the right path. When people would take ships, right, to different countries, to explore the world, they use the stars as signs to navigate from one place to another, to know that they're not lost. Same thing applies to you. So as you are going on this journey, you will start to see these stars, AKA synchronicities, right? Or AKA coincidences. And that will let you know you're on the right path. Okay. You're on the right path. That is your higher consciousness communicating to you. Just keep going. This is it. All right. And I believe that concludes today. So trust the divine timing. This doesn't mean you just sit back and say, okay, I got to make sure the timing is right. This means you do what it is that you are pushed, pulled, inspired to do. And then you understand that there's more going on outside of you doing. Okay. You have to do, but you also have to allow. You also have to observe the rest of on a cosmic scale, the universe, and how it plays a part in influencing what's happening and what's going to happen. All right. That's ultimately what it's all about. So the major takeaway is, hey, step one, right, which is day one, understand clarity, let there be light, right? So define your desire. Step two, which is day two, is mental order, right? Let there be a firmament. So you have to align your beliefs with your desires. Step three, day three, is about grounding and action. So this is referencing let dry land appear. This is about materializing. And you have to ultimately take practical steps and actions toward that thing. Step four, day four, is about aligning with astrology and the cosmic timing patterns. Pay attention to those patterns, right? Let there be lights. So trust divine order and the astrological influences. All right, here is your practice, your exercise for the day. So astrological timing, manifestation ritual. So research your sun, moon, rising suns to understand your manifestation style. Look up the current zodiac season and moon phase and see what energies are active currently. Set an intention to align with that energy, right? For example, during Leo season, focus on confidence-based, goals, okay, and exercises. Write an affirmation aligning your manifestation with the cosmic cycles. So some affirmations, for example, can be, I trust divine timing and align with cosmic flow. The universe guides me through signs, seasons, and astrological rhythms. I manifest effortlessly by working with cosmic energy, not against it. And so essentially, this concludes this day, right? Day 4, in recognizing the importance of the lights, right? The observation of patterns, signs, of reflections of self, and also projections from the cosmic universe as to how to move, okay, during particular times of the year, of the day, you see. So it's important to recognize, okay, there is timing. Timing is important. And that doesn't mean that you only wait till you think it's the right time. It just simply means as you are moving, as you are going from day to day, taking the day to be active, taking the night to be receptive, as you go through those cycles over and over and over again, there is another cycle, a bigger cycle, where you're going to see, what may look like random results, but actually fall in alignment with the yearly cycles. Okay. And then you're going to see little sparks of, reminders of confirmation, right? Of you really being in alignment, right? Being on the right track, being on the right path. And those are the stars. Those are the synchronicities. I love the synchronicities because they're so random. They seem random, so they just happen, right? So, and that's the fun part, is just recognizing, oh, okay, I'm on the right path, you see? So trust your process. You are the creator of your reality. There's no mistake about it. Now, I know that can seem like a lot to handle, to carry, but trust me when I say you are equipped, you are built to actually do it. So I hope you enjoyed this day 4. Right. This day 4 was really insightful. This whole process was really insightful, and I'm looking forward to doing more of it. So later on, we're going to get into day 5, and we're going to continue on until we finally get to day 7 and conclude the creation story, your story of creating the thing that you desire. So thank you so much. Feel free to go to drabundant.com, subscribe to my newsletter, and get access to this free ebook, The Power Within. Continue to join me on this journey. Peace and abundance always.